Of the deal. Well,
Hey, good day, Facebook. This is Jim Blythe. I have got a fantastic program for you today with the newest member of the Texas Veterans Commission, Commissioner. I can't believe I'm saying this. Commissioner. Wow, Chuck Wright. How about that?
I have
All
a
right.
title
And
I have a badge.
You got a badge. So here we go. This is Veterans Impact Show. Stay with us. Welcome to the Veterans Impact Show, where our motto is Charlie Mike. Continue the mission. I'm your host, Jim Blythe, U.S. Navy Vietnam veteran and certified senior advisor. Join me as we feature veterans who continue the mission of leadership and commitment in our community after serving our great nation. Why, you never know who you're going to meet or where we're going to go. So welcome aboard. Hey, this is Jim Blythe, and you better know today who you're going to meet. The one and only Chuck Wright, U.S. Marine. Actually, Chuck, you and I started this. You were first, and I was brought in. You and I started this program in 2015.
Wow, has it been that long?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some fun.
Haven't we had some fun?
We have had some fun.
You remember
with
the
this.
Armed Forces Bowl?
Oh, yeah.
That was so cold.
Oh, my Lord. That was. We did not leave the big, what do you call it, suite.
No,
we did not leave the Warrior Suite
at
bad.
all. We have had so much fun over these years. And
I was loving watching a little promo video.
Yeah,
you still left my butt in there.
You bet.
That was cool.
I think that's important. And Chuck,
part of our legacy.
One of the things that has been so great about working with you and having you as a friend, you've always shared all of the activities and the things you do and the contacts you have. You're just like, man, what can we do to serve veterans? Yeah. And now you've hit the pinnacle, I think, in Texas of being able to serve veterans you are now the newest commissioner of the Texas Veterans Commission.
Appointed by the governor.
Wow.
I think it's been, and he's already sent me a proclamation thing that it's an odd size, so I can't find a frame for it.
Hey, we've got a house full of frames right now. We moved. Chuck, first of all, people are going that are in other parts of the United States. What is the Texas Veterans Commission? Why is that important? So, and there are a lot of civilians and people who are watching this and go, what is the Texas Veterans Commission? Let's tell them. You tell them. What is the Texas Veterans Commission?
Okay, let me start out by saying this is going to sound a little bit like a plug from the Chamber of Commerce, but Jim knows, Diane knows, this very much is from the bottom of my heart. But one of the things that I am most proud of is that Texas is the #1 state in terms of veteran population. And veterans make great citizens. It's why our best governor in the nation, Greg Abbott, saw fit to appoint me to continue this. And as I have learned more and more about what the Texas Veterans Commission does, I am more and more impressed because it is an organization. I am honored to be a spokesperson effectively for an organization that is one of the most effective state agencies. But this is what I wanted to kind of talk about, because we have a lot of listeners that are around the country. So one of the things that Texas has done is they have gone and become very serious. And one of the problems with veterans in transition, it's they don't know where to go to get their benefits. They've got different benefits that they qualify for, but there's all kinds of things. So we're the first state to have a formal women's veterans initiative that's run through the TVC. We have an entrepreneur program to help our veterans who want to create their own business, the vetrapreneurs, as I call them.
Yeah. That's Patrick Alcorn.
Patrick Alcorn is one of those. Yeah, he is an incredible, and he is one of our partners. And kind of he becomes a great segue. So one of the problems you have is that the VA provides, the Department of Veteran Affairs is a federal agency that provides services. The problem is, how do you navigate that? Unfortunately, part of it's the nature of the beast, but as everybody knows, the bigger an organization gets, the more bureaucracy you have. And that frustrates our veterans to no end. So what we've built And again, I'm a bit exuberant about this. This is a really cool position. It even comes with a badge. I had to wear my badge in today, and I had to wear my shirt.
You didn't have to, but you did for us.
Okay, well, I felt like I had to. But yeah, you're right. I'm showing off, but it's great. But so back to the point. What we have created in the state of Texas is something truly unique. And I have friends that work in the veteran space in other states, and they're just blown away by the depth and breadth of what we're doing at TVC. So we become a place where a veteran can say, I need help.
Yeah.
It might be with a claim. It might be with figuring out education benefits. Whatever it is, we don't care. And our people are trained. So you'll call, and they've thrown the website up, and they've just updated it. We've got our communications people have done a great job of making our TVC portal really easy to navigate. But let's say you come in and you have a claims problem. That might not be your only problem. In fact, I had a gentleman the other day that reached out to me. He happened to be a friend. And so he was asking for help, but he needed help, not just filing an unemployment claim, but he needed help looking for employment. Well, we have a partnership. We don't run the Texas Workforce Commission, but we have a partnership to work with them. And we can pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, I'm getting all this information in. The claims, you are funneled to a claims person or a case manager, and they look at it and they say, okay, well, you need employment. Well, let me send this file over to a Texas Workforce Commission. Let's loop them in. But this gentleman also needs some help. And you were just talking about our friend Ginger Simonson, who runs for North Texas the Military Veteran Peer Network. This is for, and all of these services are free. We are not asking. In fact, we are warning veterans, if you've got a law firm that's telling you they can handle stuff for you, please call TVC first. We may not be able to handle everything. Go ahead.
Well, let's back up just a second, because I've got some experience with this. We have the county veteran service officer that is a VA accredited rep.
That's correct.
They have the computers and the technology and the access to the records. So one of the things is they're paid by the state.
No.
It is paid by TVC.
No.
Okay.
They're paid by the counties.
Okay. Paid by the county. Didn't know that. But they come under. So with that, in most state, well, I don't know of another state so far that has a state or county organized structure for the accredited reps. They're usually DAV or VFW or American Legion.
And generally, if you're going to go to an organization like that, I really recommend DAV. They have been very, very serious. But here's part of how all those connections work. The county veteran service officers work for the county, are paid by the county. We do provide their training, but we don't run them. We're not in charge of them. And one of the reasons that I say call TVC, we have more manpower, because a lot of our county veteran service officers are overwhelmed. Now, I was hanging out this Thursday with Paul Bastich, who runs the Denton County. And I say this as a challenge to every other county out there. If you want to see how a county veteran service officer program is run, you call Paul Bastich, who's running Denton County, because he is running it so well. But he has the complete commitment of the county commissioners. And so this is one of the problems. There's a bit of inconsistency there. We want to iron out that inconsistency. And one of the things we're doing is we're taking some of that workload off of those guys because they're swamped. I talked to a gentleman who literally offices down the hall. We won't mention the county, but from a county veteran service officer program. He says those guys are here at 8:00 and they don't leave until well after 5, and they're just appointment bump back to back to back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, guys, send them down to TVC, because we've also got people around the state as well. We have I was talking to, we were at the Wall That Heals a week ago, and for an absolutely great event. And I met, just by happenstance, he heard me talking to somebody else, introduce himself, the gentleman who is the TVC employment specialist. So we have all these specialists, but the point I'm driving at, what Texas is doing different, is we're connecting at all of these levels. Now, I'm going to go one step further. We also have a statewide, funded by the lottery, and I sat on this committee for 8 years, and I loved it. It is great.
You mean you like giving away money?
I love giving away money. Over $40 million in the pot this year. Wow. That is more than, so you go back 8 years to when I started, that is more than twice the amount of money that we had to work with that year. Now, this is almost all lottery money. It's from the veteran scratch-off tickets. So I don't encourage that kind of gambling. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. I just saw Joe Dunleavy. Giving a shout out. Yeah, I left the show because the workload had just become too much. This is going to be great, this new position. But back to bragging about the position. Sorry, my wife gets on me about not staying focused. And I'm bad about it. I am a squirrel beer cart.
Got it.
But what we're doing at TVC is we are becoming a conduit, not just at the federal level, the state level, but we're serving veterans, but we're also serving all of those nonprofits out there. And I'll talk about a couple of them. A lot of them are groups, but one of my favorites is God, the name just flew right out of my head.
Carry the Load?
No, actually Carry the Load, and they don't qualify.
The Tribe?
One Tribe, I noticed that they didn't have a grant request in this year, but I was talking with eQuest and they are up for renewal. So we have a great program where we do a 1-year grant, but they have a process that you can be an automatic renewal, which saves a lot of the headache. Writing a grant is very difficult. But these are all of these are organizations that serve veterans, and some of them are not even directly serving them. So we have Salvation Army, we have Catholic Charities, and yes, indeed, this is the one workaround in the state of Texas where even if you're a faith-based group, you qualify. And people don't realize, and this is not a religious thing. Nobody's trying to, proselytize you into becoming this religion or that religion. It's just organizations that are serving, and for us, it's about serving veterans. Now, obviously, the Salvation Army serves a lot more than just veterans.
Well, without a doubt. And I think this is so great because many times I hear stories of men and women who get out of the military, whether it's 4 years, 6 years, 30 years. And there is a process that they go through that I understand is about a week long. And most of them say, yeah, I was there, but I didn't get anything out of it.
Well, you know why they don't get anything out of it? Because their goal is to get out. So you're sitting through and you got to get your check or your initials or whatever they do. And you got this checklist and you sit through this so that they initial or stamp the thing at the end of it. And it's going in one ear and out the other. Now, the other problem, in fairness to them, a lot of it, you're talking over somebody's head.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I could do that with flying real fast, and most of our listeners wouldn't have a clue what we were talking about.
Right.
So it is, and it's, but where we are. So TVC is here for our veterans in the state of Texas. We are here to serve you. Like I said, go to the website, TVC. I'm not going to list the whole thing. If you Google Texas Veterans Commission, I don't know why anybody tries to type a website in anymore. Just Google Texas Veterans Commission. Pop up on the site. You will see how easy. But look at how many things we're doing. We're doing claims. We're doing education. We're doing employment. We're doing grants, mental health, women's veteran initiatives, healthcare advocacy, and our veteranpreneurs. I'm trying to get them to change that from entrepreneurs to veteranpreneurs. Because, it's a word that I made up, and I like it.
I know. You like it. And this is important because veterans lead the way. Absolutely. When we have a healthy veterans community, they're able to do things. One of the things a lot of people that are civilians that have never experienced it, is that veterans have a mission. You wouldn't necessarily go in if you didn't have a mission. And one of the things is to continue that mission, to continue that drive, to continue to serve.
I want to change that word from mission to purpose.
Okay, great.
Veterans
I like
have
that.
a purpose. And that Charlie Mike, that continue the mission is that drive doesn't go away when you leave the service.
No, huh?
And you look at the veterans who have accomplished so much. And I will say, let's go back to the greatest generation, guys even older than you. We do have some fun on the show. We do have some fun.
We have had some fun.
We have had some good times. But you look at what the greatest generation did. And this is my own weird theory, having grown up as the son of a World War II vet. My parents were members of that greatest generation. But I am absolutely convinced one of the biggest drivers was the GI Bill.
Well, let's go to another thing as well, because this has been documented. Not only was the GI Bill, my dad used the GI Bill to go to college and become a CPA. Diane's father used the GI Bill to go become an engineer. That was one thing, because all of a sudden it raised the educational level. But another thing was these men and women, primarily men, World War II, were used to working in what we call line item or line management styles in where you got a chain of command, where you're used to management.
Mm-hmm.
They came back with a different attitude and a different set of skills.
Yep.
And in many cases, you had 18, 19, 20-year-olds running a squad or doing things and having to learn to improvise, having to learn to overcome, having to learn to adapt.
So let's go back to 2015 when we started this show.
Oh, wow.
And we'll talk about, at the time, the biggest push was really about getting veterans employed. And it's still a huge push.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of employers, and hopefully in that almost 10-year period of time, we have come around, our employer base has come around and realized that veterans make for great employees. And what I was going to say about that is one of the reasons, and this is something I've said to a lot of employers who've gone, yeah, that's kind of a really good thing. Veterans know how to get a job done. They're not going to come asking you every 2 minutes, what do we need to do about this? What do we need to do? They just say, okay, I want this done, and they go figure out how to get it done. And it's amazing, the efficiency.
It is. And so we're going to take a break to hear from our partners. And I want to say thank you, Commissioner Wright, for coming on board today. And
good.
Thank you for helping me start this in 2015.
Wow.
And then we're going to talk not only about the Texas Veterans Commission, but a lot of wonderful things that you do that have just been great. So this is Veterans Impact Show with Chuck Wright today. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Veterans Impact Show. And thanks to our sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage and Lone Star Wealth Strategies. Now, let's continue this great conversation. My guest is Chuck Wright. My guest, he's the guy that started this program, and I came
But now I'm just a lowly guest.
No, you're an honored guest. You're an honored. I guess the name commissioner means the Honorable Chuck Wright. I like that. That is good. And you know why I mess with you a little bit on that? Some of the things that you have done, you served for 8 years on the grants board for the Texas Veterans Commission. You developed not only relationships, but you began to vet many of these. And we've got 501c3s coming out our ears.
Mm-hmm. We've got some great ones.
We've got some great ones, and we've got some that are not so great.
Well, you got some dogs.
And that's true of anything. But you have helped the great ones, and you helped me, and then you helped a lot of veterans. One of the other things you've done is Wreaths Across America.
Yep.
That was, I'll never forget, Chuck, I will never forget you saying to me, okay, we're going to do Wreaths Across America, and I'm going to introduce you to Mary
Corsi Bush.
Corsi Bush, and her son was killed in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do this live remote there, and we recorded it. And here it is on the top of a hill overlooking the cemetery, the National Cemetery in Dallas. And you can see the flags, and it's beautiful. And it's the grave that is right on the top of the hill. And
that is the prettiest spot. And I got to brag a little. DFW. Okay, we're in DFW. North Texas is generally flat.
Mm-hmm.
This is cotton country.
Mm-hmm.
This is flat. So DFW National Cemetery was built in a valley. It's just south of Mountain Creek Lake, and it's a little valley. On the other side of the valley is Dallas Baptist University, which after SMU is the prettiest campus in North Texas.
Really?
I think. Really a great place, but it's this incredible, peaceful place.
It looks out over lake.
Yeah, Mountain Creek Lake.
Creek Lake.
And on the other side of that is the old NAS Dallas, where Chance Vaught used to build airplanes.
Yeah, they built F-8 Crusader and the Corsair. And believe it or not, going way back, they built the 4FU Corsair.
Cool. My favorite airplane from World War II.
So in this setting, we are interviewing this lady she's a Gold Star mother.
Yep.
And she's lost her son. And I got to tell you, that was one of the most gut-wrenching, heart-pounding moments I have ever had in an interview. That was great.
She has an incredibly powerful story. We're up here broadcasting from Frisco, Texas, and she is the first lady of the Gold Star families in Frisco. Kind of an informal title, but she has done a lot. She's the one who created the Wreaths Across America program at the DFW National Cemetery, which is now a worldwide organization. On the third Saturday of December every year, we go out and we lay wreaths on the grave sites of our veterans.
Yeah, and if somebody doesn't want a wreath, they
can do that. But for the most part,
and man, that
the
is
people
beautiful.
know that it is being done with love, but it is also being done to pay it forward, to remind people of the sacrifices that our veterans make and that their families make. And the thing is, especially at DFW, if you look out, you realize that all the headstones are the same color.
We all bleed the same color.
We all bleed the same color. Let me tell you, veterans were DEI long before it was cool.
Well, here's the other thing that I really, really liked about that, because Diane and I are involved with Sea Cadets, which is the U.S. Navy's, I guess, high school program for kids, like a JROTC. They have the Navy Sea Cadets. They've got the Marine Corps Young Marines. They've got the
Army JROTC, the Navy JROTC comes
and
out.
the Air Force. Chuck, here are these young men and women that are part of this beautiful ceremony in this beautiful place, and they're hearing and seeing true American heroes who are there. And so it's not just honoring the lost generation of those who've gone, but it's honoring them with the future generation and educating those kids too.
It is making people, and so we talked about purpose a little bit earlier, but it is also talking about, instead of worrying about what divides us right now, which a lot of people seem to want to do, that's their thing. It reminds these people, it educates these people. We absolutely encourage people to bring their kids and their grandkids to come out, because it reminds them that we're all part of something bigger and something better. You know, and for all the problems that we have right now, and we've got a few, this is still the greatest nation on the planet.
Yeah, and don't think it isn't, because people are dying to get here.
Yeah, no kidding.
Literally.
No kidding. You don't see people being refugees into the Middle East. You don't see them doing that into Russia or into China. You don't see them doing it out of South America, although I'm glad to see a lot of South American countries are doing a lot better, and that's a good thing.
Yes.
That's a good thing. But you see them doing that, literally dying to get here. I mean, I think I was watching some show the other day, but it was about a Cuban baseball player who was trying to get here to play baseball. But the other thing he was trying to do is trying to bring his family here. And they are going across 90 miles of open, shark-infested open water, risking life and limb to come to America.
In boats that are not always seaworthy. All right. We're going to be coming back in just a minute after hearing from all of our partners. And Chuck, we're going to talk about some of the specific things that are within TVC that we haven't. But the Reads Across America is great. Another thing that you have done is the Gunny Golf Tournament. And we're going to, because that's fun. That's fun. Really fun.
That's a lot of fun.
All right. We're going to be back in just a second. And this is Veterans Impact Show. We're here for you. Hey, join us.
A picture of our
follow us, subscribe us on YouTube. We're here for you. Welcome back to the Veterans Impact Show. And thanks to our sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage and Lone Star Wealth Strategies. Now, let's continue this great conversation. Hey, this is Veterans Impact Show, and I've got some people to thank. Nathaniel, you do great work with Ascend Podcasting. We've got engineering that is just par excellent. And Chuck, you brought Nathaniel and brought us all together.
Absolutely.
My beautiful
great
wife,
young
Diane,
man.
She's pounding this stuff out on social media, and it's really great. We are, as a result of what's going on, I missed.
Yeah, you misspoke, big. Just keep going, man. Okay. Just keep going.
We are now on DBTV Network. We're on Amazon Fire. We're on Roku. We're Smart TV, and we're getting ready to be picked up by another big one that we can't talk about yet. But you are throughout the United States, the audience of this. Join us, follow us, and share this, because this is information. Somebody says, well, I'm in Idaho. I'm in Nevada. I'm in, God forbid, California. Well, we've got people in California that are watching this on AUN. And so we want to say to you, hey, this is the model for helping veterans. You want to know more, you can contact Chuck Wright. How can people get a hold of you? You got an email address?
I actually do. It's if you want to contact, I'll give you the easier one. Info at tvc.texas.gov. Okay. It's really a pretty simple email address. And if you want to tag me in it, and if there are negative comments, well, that's Commissioner Kevin Barber. I'm just kidding, man. Just kidding. Kevin's a friend of ours.
But the important thing is we let people know, and we set a model, and we set a standard. Yeah. And we've got to, because we're now the largest state in the nation. One of the things, TVC shows up at almost every veteran event that I see.
We try.
They're there, and they are, in a subtle way, causing people to come together.
Yeah.
Provide that information. They're being part of the glue that binds all of us together to be able to do things. And there's really not another organization in the state of Texas that is statewide that is doing that and encouraging all these things. And I think that's one of the remarkable things. It's not really in your goals and plans, but it's something that you do by just being part of it.
Well, I'm going to once again correct you, because that was my prime job on the show. Correcting. As we pound this out. I'm sorry. Inside joke there. We are not the only agency in the state that serves veterans. And a great example is my friend, Dr. Don Buckingham, who is now the head of the state's general land office.
Oh, yeah.
They run the Texas Land Board, which is actually a mortgage company specifically for veterans, specifically in Texas. It was set up to buy farms and ranches, but it is expanded now. So we partner with them. We are taking collaboration to a whole nother level. But where I was going to correct you is there is no program like TVC in the entire nation. And we're from Texas, and everything is bigger in Texas and better, including the lies. But in this case, it's not a lie. We actually do. We are doing, and I know you wanted to talk in this segment about going into some of the things that we do, but we're trying to connect people. So instead of having this silo where, we're just this organization and we're only going to do this, we're not going to help anybody else. The heck with that. If I can get a veteran and help him out to get him plugged into the Texas Veterans Land Board, it's no skin off of my nose.
No.
And that's our attitude. It's how do we help? How do we serve veterans? And I said this to the employees that were there when I was literally sworn in by a judge. It's really cool. You can find out on my my LinkedIn page or my Facebook page, and feel free to connect with me on both of those. I was sworn in by a judge. It was really cool. And I knew her because she used to be the general counsel for TVC. So I knew her back in the FVA days. But there were a bunch of employees there and that had come to watch this. And it doesn't happen very often when you're actually sworn in. But the thing that I said to them is that you have a purpose that is one of the noblest that I can think of, in that you spend your days serving veterans, and they do. And that is a compliment to the leadership. It's Executive Director Tom Palladino.
Neat guy.
It's Sean. I want to say it's Delaney. My apologies. I don't know everybody yet. My friend Charlie Cato, Chip, who runs.
Well, you can actually go to the website.
Yeah, you can go to the website. You can find all these folks.
You can find all of them.
All of these folks. And they are great folks. And that is their mission. They go to work every day serving veterans. I love this. This is so cool.
When you talk about serving veterans and bringing veterans together, one of the big initiatives, not only for the VA, but within our veteran community, is to end isolation, but to get people out and get them involved.
Exactly.
Well, you started several years ago a golf tournament with a great man. I mean, unbelievable. Tell us a little bit about the Gunny Golf Tournament, because you just had it a week ago.
Just a week ago or so. And it was, again, very successful. So for those of you, let's throw that picture up, who don't know, if you see the picture, you're like, I know that guy. This is Gunnery Sergeant Hartman from Full Metal Jacket. This is Arlie Ermy. What people don't know about Arlie was his absolutely inspirational dedication to our military and to our veterans. He was truly tireless in this. And it was one of these things he did, and he didn't need recognition. A lot of times there were no press releases that he had gone down to San Diego to speak to another graduating class of young Marines, or that he gave a presentation at the Marine Corps Ball at Guantanamo, and Navy organizations, Air Force.
He
didn't care.
To one of our deals that you put on for the homeless veterans with Ken Watterson.
So
that's where I met him.
Talking about that, he was the MC, and this is how I met him. He was the MC of the Homeless Veteran Services of Dallas sponsor dinner. And it was, I mean, you talk about knocked out sponsor dinner. We were eating the same food that they served to the homeless guys.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bad.
We were there.
I've had worse food on Navy ships.
No, let me tell you, remember, you're limited sometimes by what you got.
So, but this was the kind of stuff that he did. There was no press people in the room. He was just down. He was having a lot of fun. He had written a book called Gunny Rules. We had a book signing for it at the Frisco Gun Club here in Frisco. And it was the day before we did the sponsor dinner. And he was in town for the Armed Forces Bowl, which he participated in most every year before he passed away. So we decided to put on a golf tournament to honor his life very well lived. And it has been very successful because he's one of those guys who really connects to so many people because so many people know him. 80 movie and TV credits. He did Mail Call. He did Lock and Load. He did some great stuff. The show that he passed away before it really had a chance to take off, I think they only had about 4 or 5 episodes, was a show about canine dogs that in the military. Just absolutely, and who doesn't love dogs? Speaking of which, we have a brand new this year grant category specifically for service dogs, and we're going to kind of do a pilot on it.
Oh, you know that?
Yeah.
Fairway Independent Mortgage, that is one of our sponsors who I work for. They have the American Warrior Initiative, and the employees all contribute. Chuck, they have given away over $1 million worth of service dogs, trained
service dogs. And that is so valuable. The problem with them is they're more of a national organization. The one thing about our money, it's Texas money. It has to stay in the state of Texas. And there are ways to work around that. I mean, they can just set it up and take money,
well, you know what?
Apply for a grant and take money, but just for Texas veterans.
I tell you what, I'll get with Louise Thaxton.
Well, there you go.
And say, okay, how are we going to do this? Because we got plenty of veterans that need service dogs.
Who doesn't love dogs?
Who doesn't love dogs? People who like cats, and I got it. Even people who have cats sometimes have dogs.
Yep.
And I'm allergic to cats, but I love dogs, man. And so is Diane.
Yeah.
In this regard, then, how great you just had this golf tournament, and you had, I don't know how many guys out there playing golf.
We were a little short of where we normally were. The weather was absolutely not cooperating. In fact, we thought we were going to get pulled an hour before because the rain was literally coming down. And if you're in Texas, you've seen sideways rain.
Yeah.
We were getting sideways rain. And it broke a half hour before tea time. Wow. The skies cleared. It was a great day for golf. If you missed it, you missed a good time. And I get it, we're in Texas when the weather, when the weather gets bad, people just hunker down and they don't go out. And, but we're going to be back next year, May 9th. We're not sure on the golf course yet. We may have a new option in mind. We may be upgrading courses. We'll talk about that a little more later.
Navy League did a deal for Sea Cadets to raise money for Sea Cadets. And that was done at the Las Colinas Country Club, which used to be where part of the
it's part of TPC, and it's where the Byron Nelson used to be.
was. And let me tell you something, that was gorgeous.
Yeah, that's a nice course.
That's
a very nice course.
And they did a phenomenal job in taking care of us. Chuck, this is important because it not only brings awareness to the plight of homeless veterans, which a lot of people say, oh man, homeless veterans. Well, you don't understand all of the things. Sometimes you've got a veteran who's moved here. Bad things happen to good people.
Yep.
And sometimes you have veterans who really, really need help. And I got to tell you, what you raise money for, and one of the things is that has happened with the initiatives, with the things that are going on, the number of homeless veterans is going down, isn't it?
It is going down. So we're helping, and that is, and the thing is, kind of like TVC, HVSD is doing actual on-site education. They're doing their welding schools have a waiting list to get into them. They've created an employment arm. They have gotten over 500 veterans in jobs, or they may not have been unemployed, but there's a term for it where you get somebody a better job. And so they are doing a ton, and I'm going to steal a line from our friends at Combined Arms. It's Homeless Veteran Services of Dallas, powered by the Veteran Resource Center, which is one of the oldest veteran resource centers in the state. It is the most effective organization nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that we can get the word out there. Maybe we need to get you and Ken Watterson in. I have two Marines, and do a really great program together.
There we go.
Yeah.
We've had Ken on before.
We've had
We've
Ken
had
on
we've had a
before.
lot of fun with Ken.
You bet.
Before.
And I got to tell you, this is important to our community as well, because as I said before, healthy veterans help to make a healthy community.
Absolutely.
And
let me throw this in, particularly here in North Texas. North Texas, there are 8. The TVC breaks the state down into 8 regions. North Texas is the highest concentration of veterans in the state.
How many are up here? Do you have an idea? Somewhere several years ago, somebody said 450,000, but
I think the number's a little bit higher than that, but that's close. So you've got ballpark 2 million veterans in the state, according to the VA.
wow.
So
That's
I tend to deal in ballpark numbers.
well, I understand. You like to go to the ballpark
I
too.
occasionally have been to the ballpark.
Yeah, we need to do that.
What's the number of North Texas?
About 450,000+.
400 to 600.
My
I
wife
want to
just
say it's
asked.
closer to 600,000. I've got to look. Don't quote me on that. And that I think that report has just we do that report on a regular basis.
Now, do the Texas Veterans Commission somehow partner with or work with the veterans courts that are in the counties?
Yeah.
I thought
we
you
have
did.
a separate. So we have 5 different categories of grant requests, and Veteran Treatment Court is their own category, and we are very proud of the fact that we are a major fundraising arm for them.
I didn't know that. I something in my brain told me that, and a lot of people don't know Veterans Court. What is that? If a veteran, DWI, maybe domestic violence, or
there's certain crimes that cannot go through the Veteran Treatment Court, but a lot of them will. And basically what it is, it's a second chance program. It is a major program. And here, a little shout out to my friend John Roach, who not only runs the Collin County Veteran Treatment Court program, but he runs it for Rockwall County, Grayson County, Fannin County, and there's one other, and I can't remember the name of it, not really important now. But he does this where it's a 12 to 18 month program.
Yeah.
And these veterans get counseling, they get job skill training. They try to figure out what was the problem, what triggered this crime, whatever the crime was.
It's a rehab program.
And it's effectively a rehab program.
Do you remember when we were broadcasting together, and I can't remember the guy's name, it was Michael something, was the first graduate of the Denton County Veterans Court with Judge Garcia.
I can't remember his name either, but I remember his face.
Yeah. And what a great deal. And this guy, it changed his life.
Changed his entire life.
Yeah.
The recidivism rate, and I want to talk to this. So hopefully my friends like Senator Tan Parker and House Reps Jared Patterson and Matt Shaheen are listening to this. But one of the things that I think is the Veteran Treatment Court program, and I get it, not every civilian has that veteran connection, but I think it can be a model to help first-time offenders, because the recidivism rate of these veterans, basically, when do they go out and commit another crime, is 1% to 2%. It's ridiculously low. And most criminals, we start at 50% and go up from there.
Oh yeah. And one of the other things is, and I don't know which came first, but now there's drug treatment courts, there's court that are rehab.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very familiar with that. All right. We're going to take a break and come back, and I'm going to bring this program back into the dock. But I got to tell you, thank you so much to Fairway Independent Mortgage, and thank you so much for Chuck Wright for being part of this, our newest commissioner on the Texas Veterans Commission. This is a great opportunity for you to share wherever you are in the United States with people who are supporting veterans, because we're here for you. Welcome back to the Veterans Impact Show, and thanks to our sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage and Lone Star Wealth Strategies. Now, let's continue this great conversation. You know, Chuck, I haven't had as much fun doing a program in a long time. And I love having Cedric. He's now come in to replace you. He's in Portugal right now. What a deal, man. I'm in the wrong business. Marriage counseling ministry, Cedric White, Healing Thine Heart's ministry. Great man. Chuck, you and I have been kibitzing and kidding around with each other, though, for a lot of years, about 9 years.
I know. It's been a while.
And we love to go to the Frisco Gun Club and put a few holes into pieces of paper.
Absolutely.
A lot of fun. And I think that one of the things that you bring so much passion and purpose and dedication, you've always done that. You've always stood up for veterans, and you've always been there to help people. And so, again, thank you, Governor Abbott. Thank you for appointing Chuck to being the Texas Veterans Commissioner. And what can we do? What can we do to support your efforts? And what are some of your goals as a commissioner?
So, in terms of supporting efforts, I'm going to give everybody a real simple challenge. If you can hear my voice, or if you watch this show, if you are on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, go to the Texas Veterans Commission and follow us. It's real simple, but it is such a great, I love social media. It's such a cost-effective way of getting the word out. And you're going to see, especially thanks to our new communications people, they are really upping their game. And
Now's the time.
Now is the time. And I've thought about this, and I was a little bit, when I went down and went through the first part of training, I had no clue how much TVC did and how effective they were. We are arguably the most cost-effective state agency in Austin. Now, granted, that's a little bit of a humble brag, but I think we can back it up with what we do, and we're going to have some stats coming out. One of the things that's great is you can connect. You don't have to come in and have a face-to-face meeting if you need help from TVC. You can do it by phone. You can do it over the computer. I mean, you literally never have to see another human being to get plugged in. And as I was talking about, there are multiple layers of service that we provide. It may be with claims. It may be getting you plugged into the VA for benefits. It may be referring you to another agency like the Texas Workforce Commission for employment. What about education? We can help you get started. The Hazelwood Act. We actually manage the Hazelwood Act. Women veteran. We were the first state to have a women's veteran initiative. So when you talk about, it's a 6-year term. So I run out in 2029, excuse me. Sorry. Whoa. One of those is going to be to see our veteranpreneur program become more robust. They're doing a good job with it. I want to do whatever I can to help it grow. The other one is getting more people. I want 100,000 followers on our LinkedIn page, because LinkedIn is kind of the business page. And as Diane just reminded me, we want to do more for military spouses. And yesterday was Military Spouse Day, and families.
Yeah.
And we support a lot of those initiatives through the grant initiative. We want to keep growing that. We want to keep expanding that.
I think that's fantastic. I think that's great. I don't know. I've repeated myself. Healthy veterans, healthy community goes without saying.
So let me give you a fact to back up that opinion. One of the reasons the governor loves veterans is veterans have a higher median income than non-veterans.
I didn't know that.
A lot of people don't know that. And one of the reasons for that is there is a stubbornness about veterans.
Work harder.
They're going to work harder. You don't have to worry about most veterans working hard.
Man, I tell you what, I know one guy, Lynn Toomer. He is now running for national vice commander of VFW.
Yep.
And let me tell you something. He's got a construction company. They do incredible work. He is a Marine. He's got all Marines working with him. What he does is the model for entrepreneurism.
Yep.
Without a doubt. we just can't do enough, because the men and women who served wrote a blank check when they went aboard, and they raised their right hand. And when they did raise their right hand, there was no time limit. There was no age limit on that.
No expiration date.
And you talk about some great veterans. Maggie Magellas, no longer with us.
Yep.
You talk about Don Graves. There isn't an event. Did Don sing at your deal this year?
He did not, because he was at roll call, but he came, and oh my gosh, is he a hit? And for those who don't know, Don Graves, just turned this week, 99 years old, still getting around, still motoring really well. He is an Iwo Jima Marine. He saw the flag go up.
He saw the flag go up, and he was one of 15 out of 1,500 that went in the second wave onto Iwo Jima.
Yep.
Man alive. Well, Chuck, I can't say thank you enough for helping me to get started with this. I can't say thank you enough for the friendship, but I also can't say thank you enough for your dedication and your passion to help veterans. This is something that really should resonate with every one of us. And I run into some wonderful, wonderful civilians who say, thank you for all you guys do. Without a doubt, we've got it made.
I'll quote Kyle Carpenter, "You're worth it."
We try, no doubt about it. Chuck, we like to close with a prayer, so let's do that. Lord God of the universe, we thank you so much for our veterans. Thank you for your hedge of protection around our active duty military and our first responders who run into the fire instead of away from it. Thank you, Lord God, for men like Chuck Wright and Jim Palladino and many more, and the officials in the state of Texas, our Governor Greg Abbott, who supports veterans. Thank you, God. And thank you, God, for the veterans who are working so hard to bring this community together, bring this nation together across the nation. This we pray and say thank you in your holy name. Amen. Chuck?
Amen.
You're always a part of this family.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're always a part of the family. And whatever we can do to help you to get the word out, because everybody here, this is Veterans Impact Show, and we're here for you.